In this video, I want to show you how to solve a quadratic equation by using quadratic formula. So quadratic formula is used when the equation is in standard form, which means it does have to be your ax squared bx plus c, and it has to equal 0. When we're doing quadratic equation, it's important to identify your a value, in this case 2, your b value is 4, and your c value is 3. Notice that a, b, and c are not variables. We will not be using x here, okay? Now the quadratic formula says opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And the first step is just plugging everything into the formula. So I'm going to plug in this b value of 4 here and here. So we'll do opposite of 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared. Okay, then the minus 4 is part of the equation. I'm going to come over here and plug in my a value of 2 right here. And then I'm going to plug in my c value of 3 right here, okay? And then you'll notice in the denominator we are multiplying 2 times that same a value of 2 again, okay? So plugging everything in. Once we've got it plugged in, the most important part is inside the square root. And this is the part that we also call the discriminant. There is a video already made all about the discriminant, so watch that. But in the discriminant, it's important to separate this basically into 2 problems. We're going to do the 4 squared as one problem, and then we're going to multiply all 3 of these together as part 2. Okay, do it all at one time. Okay, so for example, the first part, 4 squared is 16. Okay, now when I multiply these 3 together, notice that there's one negative. That means that my answer will be negative. I'm going to keep that subtraction. Now I'm going to multiply 4 times 2 times 3. 8 times 3, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And I'm left with a 16 minus 24. Okay, so I'm going to come down here and write my new problem again. Negative 4 plus minus square root. In the denominator, 2 times 2 is 4. And inside that square root is going to be this 16 minus 24, which is negative 8. Okay, so that's the first part. Now, after that, there are 2 steps. Step 1 is that you have to simplify the square root. So in this case, I'm simplifying the square root of negative 8. As soon as I realize I have the square root of a negative, I know that I'm pulling out an I. Okay, going back to the last chapter. When I break down the 8, I'm going to break that down into square root 4 square root 2. Square root 4 is the perfect square. That becomes the whole number 2. So I'm left with 2i square root 2. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right back over here in place of that. So my new problem now says negative 4 plus minus. I'm going to put that 2i root 2 in place of that negative square root 8. And I'm going to divide by 4. Okay, my next step, we'll do this one in red. My next step is now to reduce if I can. Now, when I'm reducing, it's important that we divide by the same thing. So I'm going to look at this negative 4, this 2, and this 4. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the I in the square root. I'm going to look at these other things, and I'm going to ask myself, what can I divide by? And in this case, I can divide all of those by 2. So if I divide this by 2, I'm going to be left with negative 2. Okay, plus minus. If I divide this by 2, I'm going to be left with 1i root 2. And if I divide this by 2, I'm left with 2. So my final answer would look like this. Okay? And I'll make a second video in a few moments. I'll make a second video showing you example 3 as well, so we can look at what do we do when we've got all these negatives in here. So we'll look at that one in just a moment.